Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a training for the Scale Your Heart-Centered Coaching Business to 10K Months with Fun and Flow group and community. I want to just say so thankful, Shane, that you chose to take some time out of your busy schedule and your life as a healthy, happy, successful entrepreneur to come and teach and share what it took to build your business and your community. And so let's just start with your story. I heard a little birdie told me just before we started that you've been a successful entrepreneur your whole life, yeah?
Most of my life. I started my first business when I was 24 because I absolutely hated working for other people. Actually, I was never good at it. I got fired from every job that I ever had, or got yelled at or got in trouble with the bosses. I just have always had a problem with authority, never did well with jobs. So I was forced to be an entrepreneur. And it's really because I'm self-led. I have a vision for myself. So I'm always trying to improve. Even jobs I've worked at where I have really good ideas, it kind of steps on the toes of the bosses or the owners, and they don't like me trying to help or lead in that way. And they're like, well, see you later. And so I eventually just had to get on board with it. I'm going to lead my own vision and I'm going to create my own businesses. And now I've created multiple highly successful businesses over the years.
Excellent. I totally resonate with that. I've been fired from lots and lots of jobs as well. Habitually unemployable was a phrase that I started to throw around after a while. So I
Right.
understand it. Like not fitting into the corporate or the classic American workaday world structure. We build our own. So I'm curious. It looks and sounds and seems from how prolific and how engaged you are that this structure, the business that you've got currently with your channel Raw Vegan Rising, right?
Correct. Yeah, Raw Vegan Rising is my social media channel, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and
Well,
my website, rawveganrising.com.
it looks as if this is something you would do forever because it feels good for free, and you happen to have put a business vehicle around it that allows you to thrive. Am I reading you right?
Yeah, correctly. Yeah, it's my passion. It's just who I am, actually. I always wanted to just get paid for who I am, not for something that I did, but really just being me. So Raw Vegan Rising is that. I'm a raw vegan. I have been for over 5 years. I help people adopt a plant-based diet and lifestyle. I've been on my plant-based journey for 33 years. I first went vegan when I was 17, and I'm 50 now. So I've been learning how to thrive on a plant-based diet, and it's led me to more raw food. I've always been into juicing and health and raw foods. And over the years, it's just led me to a cleaner diet, more detoxifying lifestyle, which has led me to raw food. That's just me and my lifestyle. But when I share that message with other people, they become highly motivated and highly inspired to change or to do what I've done or to detox. So I've set up a structure around how I can help people. I have a membership, a group membership people can join for very little money, gives them a download where they can learn how to do juicing and a support community around them. And that's my current business. Raw Vegan Rising is a membership. I follow the membership model, which is a recurring payment to be part of a group that offers value and accountability and action plans to that person. So when they join my membership, they get accountability group support. They get weekly coaching with me on a live stream. They get downloads that support their knowledge and learning and education. And they also get an action plan to follow through my 14-day meal plan. I give them meal planning and then also really the action plan I outlined, I have in my main curriculum, which is my video course. It's called my Success Path video course, how to go from a non-vegan to a raw vegan hero. And it's the hero's journey of becoming the best version of ourselves. So I give people an action plan to follow for personal development, improving their life beyond just diet and lifestyle, but really creating a vision for themselves and living a more inspired life of freedom and abundance. And that's my core curriculum teaching. So even though my membership is called Raw Vegan Heroes and it's about raw food and detoxification, what I really teach at the very core and support people with is self-empowerment, personal development, self-empowerment, and just becoming free, free of the matrix of control around us, free from our own limitations, free from health problems and disease, live more abundant and healthy. So I get to be myself, in other words, which is incredible.
Man, I so absolutely am delighted by that whole articulation. And there's a couple pieces business-wise that for my audience, I want to distinguish. Your messaging is from your heart and like very clear and very aligned and very elegant and eloquent and built on a life and a lifestyle. And that's what a lot of people are missing when they first start out. They're like, I want to build a business, but I don't know who I'm going to serve or how. And then they build it ass backwards instead of finding out who they really are and building a vehicle around getting paid for that. They build the vehicle and they try to fill it in. And it's like, there's something missing there. So I'm curious what
Exactly.
your journey was to discovering that this passion was the one that you wanted to build the vision and the business around.
Well, it's a great question, and it's come from my entrepreneurial journey. I've built lots of businesses where I did just that. I tried to fit into a business that would make money. And while making money is great, and we all do need to make money, and actually, if we have self-worth and value ourselves, we are going to make money. We're going to prioritize making money. But I had a very successful business prior to my current incarnation of how I provide value for people. Years ago, about 10 years ago, I was running very successful clothing stores. Now I'm good at retail because I understand how to flip a product for profit, but I built this to a very successful business. I was earning high six figures a year, almost $1 million a year between two different clothing stores that I had. And I was still left feeling not on purpose. I knew that I hadn't tapped into my fullest potential. So even though I could make a lot of money and run these clothing stores successfully and flip products for a buck, it left me feeling so agitated deep down that I was not stepping into my true purpose work. Well, who am I? What is my purpose work? This is the question I was left with. I knew I loved personal development, spiritual growth, personal fulfillment, like finding fulfillment and meaning and purpose in our lives. I knew that that's really what I wanted to do. I knew that the coaching model was right for me because I could be myself. I could help people find true empowerment. There was no limit. Now, the way I thought about it at the time when I switched from a clothing store model, brick and mortar retail model, to a information age clothing coaching business model, what I was thinking about at the time was I needed to uncap myself. I felt like I was capped in a brick and mortar model. I could only grow so much. I could only invest so much capital. There was so much logistics, moving parts, overhead. It just felt like, and I couldn't be myself because I was just flipping clothes. I wasn't me. I was just a clerk within a business, And so I needed to take the cap off, and taking the cap off meant there was no limitation on what I could share and teach and relay the value of I've learned as a human being. Like, I wanted to motivate, I wanted to speak, I wanted to share. And to take the cap off of that, I needed to do that through a vehicle that would allow me to monetize that at the same time where I could be myself. That's why coaching works for me. It's a perfect fit for my personality, being someone who values connection, authenticity, impact, reach, making a difference for people. And so, of course, the information age model, we can use social media platforms to get our message out there. And so, actually, it's really an interesting story. When I sold my two clothing stores, and when I sold those, I didn't have my coaching business up and running. I did it on blind faith, and I went into a horrible dark night of the soul, a redefining of myself. I had to find myself out of the ashes of that. I crashed and burned financially. I went $200,000 in debt after those clothing stores and didn't know what I was supposed to do or how to do it. And so I rebuilt myself, refound my confidence and my purpose and my mission out of just scratch, out of thin air, out of necessity to rebuild my life. And so I came out of the debt, paid off the debt, got myself back on my feet, and coaching has been the vehicle for my success. And now I'm actually generating more profit than I ever did in my clothing stores with my current business model, which is really incredible. And also now uncapped. So I can share myself authentically, meaning I get paid for being myself. And it's been the most liberating experience of my life. And now actually I help people do it. In fact, all of my clients today, I was on the phone with my private clients, and everyone who I'm working with right now has hired me to learn how to be a coach. So it's pretty incredible to pay it forward, pay the success forward. I have a lot of freedom. I have a lot of time freedom. And so I'm happy to help people learn how to create time freedom and money freedom and location freedom, because I have it. And when you feel that fulfillment for yourself and you all of a sudden have money in the bank and you're not working hourly, you're not trading your time for money, and you can live anywhere in the world and you can go on vacations, you're like, wow, this is freedom. Why are we not all living this way?
Yep.
So that's what I do now, is like paying it forward. So I have a big, huge pillar of my life where I feel like my service work and my paying it forward work is vital and critical. And I do that.
Spectacular. So what would you say to a coach who's starting out, or an aspiring coach? Like if you were to lay out the pathway, give them a map and a compass to how to do it from within your perspective and experience.
So it's a journey of discovering our inner value, because when we have inner value, we can share it. If we don't have any inner value, we're trying to create a structure outside of ourselves that we can work within. Like you said, Lewis, that we're creating a business that, oh, I can fit inside of this business. But instead, we need to actually create the value from within completely, so that we're sharing value that we already have innately. So that means we have to tap into our own inner value. How do we do that? That's the real question to ask. How do we cultivate inner value? Well, most of us are wounded. Most of us are traumatized. We've been broke and living in our car or on couch surfing at some point in our life. All of us have been there. And so we have these wounds that we're carrying with us. Scarcity wounds, the who am I's is what I call it. Who am I to be successful? Who am I for someone to listen to me? Who am I to offer advice? Who am I to be an authority? So we have the who am I's. It's a syndrome and it will hold us all back. We have to get past the who am I's and past looking good and trying to be liked, and actually be radically authentic. Now, that's really hard to do, because most of us actually are really, really terrified of being criticized or having haters or someone come at us with aggression, with an opposing view. You know, we come on social media and we talk about our perspective, and then we got some heckler hater in the comments, and like it freaks a lot of us out. But value, creating value, fundamentally means that we are going to take a stand for something that we believe in. We're going to take a fundamental stand. And when we take a stand for what we believe in, we create a dividing line. It's the natural byproduct. We create a dividing line. And you say, well, you're either with me or you're against me, and there is no in between. And so we do create people who absolutely love us, follow us, praise us, need us. And then we create people who absolutely abhor us, who find us offensive, and we will create haters. Now, if we're not creating haters, we're not doing it correctly, because you're not taking enough of a stand and you're not creating a dividing line. A dividing line isn't the goal, it's the byproduct of taking a stand. And when we take a stand deep and hard and true, we will naturally, as a byproduct, create a dividing line, because any stand you take is saying, I believe this, and we have to put our marker down. We got to put a pin on the map. We got to put a line in the sand by claiming something from within ourselves. And anytime we do that, someone will say, no, you're wrong. That's incorrect. So we said we can't worry about other people's perspectives. We have to generate value from within. Now, that's what a coach does. A coach generates value from within. That's why I don't have a brick and mortar store. That's why I don't have a physical office that I go to. I work from my computer, my phone. I work from within myself. My business is myself. And I generate the value that people purchase from within myself. And it's the confidence, it's the willingness to take a stand and to stand in the fire of hate and rejection and criticism, and realize that praise and criticism are all the same. It's just a projection onto me. None of it's real. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in creating value. Now that's step one to that, but how we turn value into money is the second step of that on the roadmap. And turning value into money is solving the problem. You've got to be determined on solving a problem for someone. You have to know what problem you're solving, and then you've got to solve it. So for me, my membership solves a problem for people: the lack of community, the lack of support, the lack of knowledge around a raw vegan diet, detoxification lifestyle, natural health, and healing. So I provide the accountability, the community, the support, the knowledge, video courses, downloads that solve that problem. People can join my membership for very little money, a nominal fee, and get an entire year worth of coaching, value, support, accountability, and community. So it solves a real problem for people. So I'm solving a problem, which is then what translates your inner value to cash in the bank. So that's kind of the roadmap there. And I could keep going. I could talk for hours on this, but that's the gist. That's the gist. And most people will never get past the inner value part because they've been told their whole lives that they have to listen to some other authority, that they have to get certified or get a PhD at a school, or someone outside of themselves is going to tell them when they're ready, who they are, what to fear, what to love. And until we are the ones that determine our own authority, we will never be able to generate inner value.
This is so powerful. I am going to break down a couple of the really beautiful gold nuggets that you strew out. There's a whole cornucopia of those. I like to quote, good marketing is always polarizing. And, your only job in life is to be you. The only way you could fail is by trying to be someone or something that you're not. And preachers, teachers, family, friends, media, and government, like you're saying, they program us to look outside for the authority about how to be and who to be. And it's about getting in touch with the who we are before we were programmed, and finding out what resonates most with us and taking a stand. 100%, I resonate with that. And then the best marketing makes sales easier or unnecessary. So if you're expressing yourself and just being you, there will be people who resonate with you, and some people who just want to be around you more and have whatever that is that you have energetically, whatever it is that you have expertise-wise. Which brings me around to the interesting question of like certifications, right? The inner value piece, I 100% agree. If somebody doesn't have that dialed in, then they've missed the boat. Like it's difficult to actually build a authentic and sustainable, like something you're motivated to take the time and energy to build vehicle for producing wealth and cash flow. And yet at the same time, like I look back, right? And I believed in my value before I had any certification, skills, or trainings. I had lots of training. And I like to say I knew enough to be dangerous. So what I've seen a lot in the coaching world these days is people who have enough self-value to put themselves out there, but don't have enough skill and legitimate expertise solving a unique, specific, painful, urgent problem for a specific customer avatar to be able to speak in a way that that person wants to pay them, or to actually produce the results. Like, it's very dangerous. There's like 70, 80,000 coaches on the planet, something like that now, and more growing each and every day. And so many of them, I saw this huge influx after COVID saying, oh, let me teach coaches how to build coaching businesses. Well, have you done that for yourself? Have you done that for anybody else yet? And they'd be like, no, but I just took a program where I learned how from somebody else who's training me. And it was like this weird spiral. So like the place where I settled, and I'm curious just to hear your thoughts on this whole world of this conversation, was that if somebody can solve a problem for someone else and can teach them how to do it, has a process for doing that and replicating it and repeating it reliably, delivering that value, then I'll support that. But if somebody just wants to get in it to like get a bunch of money, and they aren't clear on who they are uniquely, that no one else can be, it kind of saturates and dilutes the value of coaching for all of us, because then they're putting a shingle out, and it's like they just got a weekend certification, right? And that finally, certifications I think are useful once you know who you're serving, believe in the value of your service, and want to refine that service in order to be not just good, but great, not just cool, you can make a difference, but the real deal expert worthy of being paid high ticket. So anyway, this is me just engaging. What are you hearing? Well, where do you come from with all this?
The cream always rises to the top. There's always room at the top for the best, and there will never be any other version than that. So we are the only ones who will create success. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. That means that no one else's position, message, business, or anything has anything to do with me. If I want to create success, it is up to me to create success. And the way we create success is by getting extremely clear on our message, on the problem we're solving, on taking a stand. I think more important than the problem we're solving is, where are we taking a stand? If we see watered down marketing on social media for coaches training coaches and all this baloney, these are people who just went in. Are they taking a hard stand on something? Obviously not. It will just get lost in the mix. Nobody cares. The cream rises to the top. That means if you take a hard stand for something, that people will listen, because nobody's taking a hard stand in our society today. In fact, with all this woke inclusive stuff, we're supposed to not take any stands. We're supposed to just go along with what everybody else says. So that is the only job of the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur has to take a stand and be enrolled in their vision. Another way of saying taking a stand is to have a vision of the future that they're working for, that they're enrolled in. So if we're not enrolled in ourselves, nobody else is going to be enrolled in what we're talking about, what we're selling, what we're offering, the problems we're talking about. Nobody will care. You are your first client. You've got to enroll yourself to the highest level of degree of your capability, because if you're not enrolled in yourself, you're going to fall flat. And being enrolled in yourself is the result. It's not actually the goal. It's the result of the goal. And the goal is to be highly engaged with your vision, a vision of the future that is so compelling that it's bigger than yourself and your lifetime, bigger than your health, bigger than your kids, bigger than your family, bigger than your circle of friends, bigger. We have to be working for something that lives beyond our lifetime, a legacy. Those who speak up for the future of humanity, for a legacy that will improve human experience on this planet beyond our lifetime, those are the ones that rise to the top. If we're just talking about mundane crap, then that's what we're going to get. We're going to get mundane crap. If we have a vision that's bigger than ourselves, we're enrolled and we're working toward bettering humanity, we will rise. People will listen, because people need leaders. People need people to take a stand and to tell them that this is the path forward. If we don't have that capacity within ourselves, we don't have the inner value, we're not taking a stand, and we don't have the vision, we are simply not going to be a leader. And we will simply not be able to cut through the noise and the mix to rise to the top. So the foundation of that, and the reason why I've risen in my field and why I have very successful coaching business and make a difference for people, is because I absolutely take a stand. I have a hard line, and I don't care if people like it or not, because I will talk about my hard line. And I get haters for it, and I get people who love me and have followed me for years and are my super fans, raving lunatic fans. But I'm not interested in that. I don't need raving lunatic fans. I need to be authentic to my message and put my foot down and take a stand. And I do that because I have an incredible vision of why I'm here on this planet and what my purpose is on this planet. And, that's another side note there is too, that we need to have a real purpose and mission. So if you haven't already, the viewers of this video listening to this, take a moment to do a little exercise to write your vision and mission statement for life. My vision is a world in which blank. I am on a mission to blank. If you don't have these working documents in a journal, then that's the first step. Without those, you have nothing. You have to know what your vision is and what your mission is. And then that can turn into enrollment, which makes you take a stand to engage people.
Epic. I got shivers, chills, and truth bumps on several of those. Like, this is kind of what I wish I had been told at the very beginning. Like, the deep, resonant, resounding inner game work around who you are, what you stand for, why you're here, what mission you're on. Like, that must come first. And all this business structure. What is it? I think Nietzsche said, he who has a strong enough why will figure out the how. And the magic of thinking big says, if you've got your why, how, you'll figure out.
Yeah.
So, like, I can totally imagine.
I have a note on my desk here that's framed, and I look at it every day that says, hold the vision, not the circumstance. So the vision drives everything. The circumstance is irrelevant. If my vision is to say, make 7 figures a year, be a 7-figure earning coach, that's my only job, is to hold that vision. How I do that is irrelevant, completely irrelevant. What most people find almost impossible to do, though, is hold a vision longer than a split second. Because if try it, do an exercise with yourself, hold a vision in your mind, a picture, a clear picture, see how long you can hold it. Less than 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Before you're on to the next and you're distracted and you go on to something else. Holding a vision day in and day out, relentlessly, unwaveringly, from the same vision for as long as it takes to accomplish that vision. Now that's leadership. And very few people have that. Most people will change their vision, get lost in their vision, forget their vision, be distracted from their vision, and therefore they will not get the results. They'll claim it doesn't work, it's pointless, and go into all the stories as to why the circumstances stopped them, when really the only problem they ever had in the first place was holding the vision consistently over time. It's like holding the plank for 5 minutes. It burns. It's hard, and unless you're experienced, unless you're practiced and conditioned, you will not be able to hold a vision. So that's what I practice as a coach, as a leader, and as an entrepreneur. That's what I practice. I practice holding a vision relentlessly, unwaveringly.
So this seems like a really great time to bring in the impact of health, and specifically veganism, raw veganism, on that. I have found my performance has skyrocketed since I chose to have a plant-based, meat, dairy, sugar, processed food free sort of diet, and my capacity for execution, for literal visualization and exercise of imagination has increased. And I'm curious, like, why would an entrepreneur benefit from the kind of diet that you stand for and represent?
A clean diet creates a clean mind. We are what we eat. Cleanliness is next to godliness. The cleaner our body, the clearer our connection to a divine source consciousness, and we have a clearer vision for our true purpose and mission here. If we're going to understand what our vision and mission is for our lifetime, we need to clear the blocks that are holding us back. And everything's interconnected. The health of our world, of the ecology and the environment, the health of our society and our culture as a whole, the health of our individual communities, and the health of our individual body is all deeply interconnected. And as we insist on eating animals, we create waste. We create bioaccumulation of waste in the environment, bioaccumulation of waste in the body. This creates blocks. This creates toxins for us to sift through. So we're sifting through waste in our cultural awareness, in our individual awareness, in our spiritual awareness. Eating a plant-based diet clears the blocks that give us access to higher cognitive function and clearer vision. So it's just a tool belt. Not that we can't be successful if we eat meat and junk food and processed foods, but if we want to give ourselves the edge. Now, I'm always someone who's looking for the edge, because I want to be successful. For me to hold a vision like that plank that's burning, I've got to have an edge. And for me, that edge is a plant-based diet, and a raw plant-based diet to fuel my body with the highest level of nutrition and hydration of the cells and helping my body eliminate properly. And I've been on my plant-based journey most of my life, 33 years now, and I've been fully raw vegan for over 5 years. And this has played a critical role in the understanding of my true purpose work and also my true value. It wasn't until I went fully raw vegan that I was actually able to admit my full value as a human, as a spiritual being on this planet that could instigate change and make a massive difference. And it was actually completely coincided with my raw vegan journey and the growth of my business, Raw Vegan Rising, which is my coaching business now. So I started my membership 3 years ago. And in the last 3 years, I've been able to grow it from just starting out. I had a couple thousand subscribers on YouTube to making multiple six figures a year. In fact, in 2022, I'm claiming 250,000 on my taxes this year just from my membership, So I built that in 3 years. And the level of clarity I've gotten from a raw vegan diet has been completely on parallel with that. I went raw vegan, the clarity came, my business started to emerge. I leaned in, I stayed focused on my vision. 3 years later, multiple six figures coming in from my business because I'm committed and I have a vision and I'm not afraid to take a stand and to create that dividing line that I talk about. When you truly take a stand for what you believe in. And I talk about raw food, which is very controversial. I say that all human biology will thrive on raw food, and people say, no, you're wrong. No, you're wrong, all the time. But that's not my concern whether people agree with me or not. That's not my business. My business is not what people think. My business is taking a stand, speaking my truth, standing in the fire when I feel like doing something else. I'll get on there and I'll make content. I'll be truthful with myself. I will put myself out there because that's the mission I'm on. I have a mission and I feel grateful. My entire well-being, my fulfillment, my happiness is dependent on me being engaged with my vision and mission. A man on a mission has nothing, So if I'm going to be actually happy in this lifetime, it requires discipline, focus, and engaged enrollment in myself.
More shivers, more truth bumps over here. I love your path. I love all of it. So seize every available advantage for as long as possible and as quickly as possible is something that I preach and do my best to practice. And raw veganism sounds like one of those. And looking at the other side of it, it makes sense that those, and not to create a global conspiracy, though it's certainly worth confronting this possibility that the marketers and salespeople from the companies, organizations, and programming sources, they would rather us stay blocked eating chicken sandwiches and filling our bodies with gluten so that they can keep controlling us and extorting surplus labor value from us, right? So I'm curious what you would say to raw veganism is really part of the key to liberating us from systems of oppression and control in general.
Yeah, as we awaken spiritually and to our own personal sovereignty, we're going to realize that we don't want to be controlled. We don't want to be in the matrix, so to speak. We don't want to be harvested for our energy and for what we have to offer. And so naturally, our food system, how we feed ourselves, plays a huge role in our personal sovereignty. And the deeper we go in, the more we awaken to our sovereignty and the truth behind it, we realize that we can't participate with the processed food culture. And while it is delicious and it is comforting, and we were raised on these comfort foods, it numbs us out to the truth, and it keeps us complacent, and it keeps us stuck in patterns that don't serve us. And these patterns from the past that recreate themselves all the time are based on trauma. These food patterns are based on trauma. We've all been wounded. Our entire society is wounded. Our demand for eating animal products and junk food is actually from a deep wounding that comes from generation and generation of trauma, because the breeding and confining of animals is so abusive at the fundamental core that it again turns back on us, and that we become abused in the system as well. So when we eat fast food and junk food based on animal agriculture, we are literally abusing ourselves. Now, how are we going to find inner value to free ourselves from the matrix when we are abusing ourselves? We can't. Part of the inner value awakening is realizing that we must eat whole food only, organic when possible, raw living foods filled with water and enzymes and fiber and phytonutrients and nutrient density to fuel our body and our mind and our higher cognitive functions at the highest level. So part of our awakening to sovereignty is, and inner value, is realizing that the food we put in our body is integral, it's key, and it helps us awaken.
Incredible. I have never heard it articulated with such precision and potency. I love it. And really reaffirms the path that I've been on of fasting and cleansing and fruit feasting, and doing my best to lean into that on a liver cleanse as we speak with Health Force Naturals. And I know we're getting close to time. I had a personal question, because I actually, right, this is such a reinforcement of everything, right? I'll call myself out. I had enough skills to be dangerous, enough skills to actually help coaches. And near the beginning of COVID, I was one of those coaches who was like, I see an opportunity here. And I actually had the skills, but I didn't have the messaging. I didn't have the deep purpose. So I was trading on tactics, strategies, and tools for years, and made six figures, and then was like, all right, well, I have enough skills because I see how this all works. And so now I'm creating my own community around a movement, around a message, around a mission, to help heart-centered men, at least to start, to complete the internal work, to have their next relationship be the best and the last relationship of their life, if they should so choose. And so within that, I'm looking at like how fun it is just to be in connection with a community. I've already got a little free community, and I'm curious in terms of building a community specifically, and then launching a coaching business into that community. Like, how did you build so quickly? And how did you optimize for like adding maximum value and receiving, like actually being able to sustain and grow quickly?
So we've crested into the information age now fully. We've moved from the industrial age to the information age. And in the information age, information moves around the globe instantaneously. Information is free on Google. So we are not monetizing information. That's not where it's at. We offer accountability, action plans, and access. Those are the three things people are paying for in the information age. Access to a community, the accountability of a community. So if we can create a community, we're offering the highest level of commodity in the information age. A community is based on culture. Okay, so the culture has to be based on a message and a mission. So we have to be clear on our mission in order to find the niche of our community. There could be a million different communities. We will monetize a community when we offer that community as value. So we simply cannot offer a community for free. We instead have to realize that the number one value, the true currency of the information age is connection, accountability, and community. So if we create a community and we offer that for a premium, that's what people are going to pay for in the information age. So do not offer a free community, because that's giving away the value for free. Instead, create high value for people. So much value that they say, wow. My whole internal goal is to make people say, wow. If someone doesn't actually take a step back and say, wow, at what my offer is, I'm not happy. I literally need them to gasp. I literally need them to have a physical bodily reaction to the value that I'm offering. So what I do is I stack the value over and over as much as I can. I started my community with just a Facebook group and a weekly live stream. I had some people opt into that. But over time, I do a weekly live stream consistently, and I upload that to a replay library. Now, my replay library has become one of my most valuable commodities because it's this incredible, vast library of over 100 hours of training videos. That was just built over my consistency serving my community. As we are consistently serving our community, we will naturally develop ways to serve them better. And as we stack this value of serving people better, create more value for less money, make your offer as cheap as possible, offer more value than it's worth, make people say, wow. When you get committed out of your mind to making people say, wow, that's the ticket. That's going to turn into money. That's the value that you're sharing with yourself. Now, in the information age, we have leveraged models like a membership. The membership model is probably the most important business model of the next 10, 20, 30 years because it's highly leveraged. We can work very little hours for the maximum amount of impact and reach and value. So my current membership just requires me to do a live stream once a week. That's all my fulfillment is. And I take the 4th week off every month. So I work 3 hours a month in my membership to earn $250,000. So that is not very conceivable for most people, but this is the power of leveraged effort. I do 1 hour of live streaming into the group per week, but it's high value for people. So people join the community at a very, 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 very small cost, but I have lots and lots of members. So my time is not trading for money. My time is trading for leverage. And therefore, it translates to a lot of money with little effort, but the most value, the highest impact. That's why my members stay for multiple years. They get high value, but it requires very little work from me. And this is the awakening to a new paradigm of how to do business. This is actually a spiritually based model because it's offering very high value from our inner message and our inner purpose and mission on this planet. So it's spiritual based work. And it's also really, leveraging the tools that we have at our disposal, the internet, to create high value for very little effort. So it's a wonderful combination. And the membership model is the most important business model that there is right now. And actually, I read an article in Forbes magazine a couple of years ago now that said that the coaching industry was the 3rd largest growing industry next to oil and some other commodity like soybeans or something, but really up there and growing fast. So your comment on an influx of coaches is correct, and there will continue to be. So there's never competition for someone who has a clear message. I literally do not see any competition because I personally put out a signal. I put out a bat signal. People will either resonate with my bat signal or not. I'm not concerned with who resonates or not. I'm concerned with putting out the strongest bat signal I possibly can, which is being very connected, very enrolled in my own mission, my stand, my purpose, who I am, my authenticity. And the clearer I am with myself, the more fundamentally enrolled I am in myself, the clearer my bat signal, and the more people know how to find me, and the more people are certain and confident to enroll in my program, listen to me, allow me to mentor them because I'm certain in myself. So that's the whole awakening paradigm of this new business model. Is certainty in ourselves serves people at the highest level. This has never happened in history before. It's a new unprecedented time that coincides with like the Aquarian age, 5D consciousness, spiritual awakening on this planet. It's very exciting.
It's spectacular, especially how you've weaved it all together. Man, I've never seen that golden thread pulled together, just the political and the existential. I mean, just looking back on our whole interview here, I'm curious if you wouldn't mind laying out like your value ladder. Like, what are the offerings you make and how much? Because I see the membership is kind of your core offer, but what else do you have for people and how can they find you?
Well, my membership is just high value for people. People get the support of the community. They can learn, they can be a fly on the wall and observe. They can allow a roadmap to develop before them without having to take action. There's very little cost involved. It's not a big investment, so people can just learn and get value. Beyond that, I offer private coaching because it is my pay it forward work. Like I said, I have a pillar that's very important to me in my life, which is my service to others. So I help train other coaches, and that's my private coaching. I have two levels of private coaching with me. One is my 1 hour consultation call. I call it my deep dive session. And that's just booking a 1 hour call with me. That's $197 to get on the phone for an hour. I come up with action plans for people. I develop plans that they can implement, whether it's raw food plans or business plans, my passion. And then there's my 12-week program where someone can hire me for 12 weeks and save a little money and have full access to me as their coach and mentor for 3 solid months. And that's where I really work with people to help them develop the understanding of how to grow their membership or their business or step into the coaching business themselves. The other thing people hire me for is detox support. Say they want to do a juice fast, they want to go raw vegan. They'll hire me for lifestyle support. And I really do both parallel. I love helping people with business. I love helping people with raw food and the lifestyle of health and healing. So that's what I offer. My membership is the lowest cost, my deep dive session, and then my private 12-week program. All of that is available on my website, rawveganrising.com. And you can see there on my website, I have a work with me tab and I have a membership tab. And it's highly informative to go look at that and how I've structured my business. Since we're talking about business, anyone here who wants to be a coach can see the structure that I've created that has become a very successful multiple 6-figure business for myself.
Incredible, elegant, beautiful, super fun. Thank you so much for your time, my friend. It's been an honor.
Thanks, Louis. Yeah, thanks. Great questions. I really enjoyed our talk today. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're so welcome, brother.